Cool. So we're talking about past continuous or past progressive. You might find out with different names, but it's pretty much the same thing. Past continuous and past progressive. Okay, it's the same thing. When you say past progressive and past continuous, you know it's the same thing. Guys, microphone. Oh, we got 2 more people. Thank you. Okay, so remember that is the same, actually the same thing. So yesterday and the day before yesterday, we talked about present perfect and we talked about simple past. We mentioned it because we compare it with the present perfect. So we saw a couple of things about it, okay? We saw the past simple, and we saw that we use it for completed actions, and we have other uses there that I will tell you later on. And we saw the present perfect, actions that started in the past and continue up in the present, past experiences, like for experiences. And what other thing it was? Guys, microphone again. Another that I don't remember, but we'll check that again. So now we have past progressive. This is another tense that we have. It is pretty easy. It's not complicated at all. We're going to see here and tense. We're going to see here how to use it and when to use it, most importantly, when to use it. So we got the past progressive is a tense. It's a grammatical tense we use to talk about past actions, okay? About past actions. Yeah, I know it's the same definition for all, but use it to talk about past actions. Now, these are specific situations. So we're going to see here what situations do we have. Now, the structure of the past progressive goes like this. We have pronoun. We have the pronoun, as you can see there. Okay. Can I move it? Because I made it. Okay. We got the pronoun, the noun can be Maria, Jose, Juan, Maria and Juan, Juan and Lucas, or it can be John and Laura. And then we have the verb to be in past. Was, wasn't, were. So I was, she was, it was. And then we have the present participle of the verb. Do you remember present participle? I explained that's one of the forms of the verbs yesterday. So this is the present participle. So you basically say in past progressive or past continuous, I was reading, he was reading, we were reading, they were reading, okay? So that's the affirmative form. The affirmative form is basically that. I was reading. So past progressive is basically the past of the present progressive or the present continuous. So it's just the past form. How do we do it? We just change the verb to be to past. And now we're talking about the past instead of the present. So if you remember, in present continuous, it says, I am reading. But in past continuous, we say, I was reading. You see, that's basically the difference. The only difference is the verb to be, that in this case will be in past. So present continuous, past continuous. Cool. Now, in the interrogative, but these are yes or no questions, keep that in mind, yes or no questions. We start with the verb to be. We start with the verb to be. It's a good idea to start comparing tenses because in the present continuous, we start with the verb to be. Like, am I crazy? Yeah, you are. Just an example, huh? Or maybe I am. Anyway, am I crazy? Yeah, you are. So this is present continuous, right? So if you notice, this is very similar. The difference is that the verb to be, it's in past. Was I crazy? Yes, or yeah, you were. Then we just change context because now we're talking about the past. So, was I, was he, was she, was it reading? Was I reading? Was he reading? Was she reading? Where's Maria? She's in the bedroom. I just saw it right now. Oh, was she reading? Yeah, she was. She was reading a book. So you basically say that. Were we? Were you? Were they? So we use were for plural. Okay? Were for plural, and you, and was for singular, and I, the first person. So first person and third person was. Second person of the singular and all the plurals were. And in the negative, the thing we do is the same. We just add not after the verb to be. Same thing we do in the present continuous. You remember it says, I am not crazy. What makes it negative? The not over here after the verb to be. So in past continuous is the same thing. The only difference is that this will be in past. So I was not crazy. I was not crazy. So was not has the contraction wasn't. Wasn't. No, I like this one. Yeah, wasn't. And were not have the contraction weren't. Weren't. So wasn't, weren't. Wasn't, weren't. Practice that. Just notice that this wasn't has 2 syllables and weren't has 1 syllable. Okay? Weren't. Weren't. No, weren't. It's weren't. And this is wasn't. Wasn't. So that is the negative form. Okay? You have the contracted form, which I explained, wasn't and weren't. So I wasn't reading. They weren't reading. Okay? So form. We form the affirmative of the past progressive with was, were, simple past of the verb to be, and the base form of the main verb plus ing, which yesterday I told you that is called present participle. Mine. This is what I want. Oh, no. Okay, okay. Okay, the base form of the verb. Why is that showing up now? Okay. Base form of the main verb, of the principal verb. We form the interrogative by putting was and were before the subject and the base form of the main verb plus ing after the subject. Why is this ringing? Oh, nice. Dominican Republic with 11,196 people with coronavirus. Awesome. Next one. We form the negative by putting the word not between was and were and the base form of the main verb was ing. So as you notice, we put not between this and this. So that is the first part. Now, let's talk about the uses. But before that, write in the chat some examples, please, of presume. Okay, so let's continue with the next part. We have structure, okay? We got the structure. That's very important. Now, more important than that is the use of the past continuous, because you can have structure, but if you don't know how to use it, then you got nothing. So we have here basically 4 different uses of the past continuous. The first one, we use the past progressive or the past continuous for an action You need to notice that every time we talk about tense, we talk about actions. So that's the first thing you need to notice, okay? We talk about actions because we refer to the actions and we use time to talk about them. So for an action which was in progress at a specific time in the past, okay? An action that was or which was in progress at a specific time in the past. So what is important here? To have a specific time in the past. An action in progress at a specific time in the past. So we do not know when the action started or finished. We don't care. We don't know. Okay? So, but we just know that at that specific time, the action was in progress. Okay, the action was happening. So we have the example. At 7 o'clock yesterday evening, Sally and Jenny were watching TV. So at this specific point yesterday at 7 o'clock, Sally and Jenny were watching TV. So this action was in progress at this specific time. So you need to see it as, we got this. And let's call this part now. Ouch, my head hurts. This is now, present, okay? So we got, say we got this yesterday. Yes, yesterday. This period of time here is yesterday. And now we got, this. And this specific point here. Let me change this circle, make it a little bit, okay. Now I need an arrow. There you go. And 7 p.m. Okay, so this point here is 7 p.m. yesterday, according to this example. So the circle is the action, okay? The circle is the action. Now, we don't know what time they started or finished the action. What we know is that at 7 p.m., we saw Jenny and Sally watching TV. So this action was in progress at this specific time. So that's one of the main uses of the past continuous. An action that was in progress at a specific time in the past. So whenever I ask you this question, what were you doing yesterday at 2 p.m.? You will answer with present continuous. The question is in present continuous because I am talking about a specific time, okay? I want to know what action was happening at that specific time. And you will answer with present continuous as well. So I was, for example, sleeping, or I was working, or I was doing homework. So you're going to answer that question with present continuous because it's a specific time in the past. Okay, cool, cool, perfect. Let's continue. Another use of the past continuous is we use the past progressive or the past continuous for a past action which was in progress, okay, similar to the first one, but when another action interrupted it, when another action interrupted it. So we got interrupted it and in progress. Teacher, but it says 7. Yes, what happened? 7 o'clock can be 7 p.m. I don't think I will be watching television to people at 7 a.m. I'll be sleeping. Because it was 7 p.m. That's not a difference. So, an action in progress when another action interrupted it. We use the past progressive for the action in progress, okay? We use the past progressive for the action in progress. That's why we call it progressive, which is the longer action. And what is going on? Okay. And the simple past for the action which interrupted it, shorted action. For example, she was walking down the street when she ran into an old friend from school. So we have two actions here. We have she was walking down the street. This is the action in progress. And this is the action that interrupts the other, that interrupts this action. So she was walking down the street when, this is very important. This word, you're going to see it and use it a lot. She was walking down the street when she ran into an old friend from school. Ran into, it's like encounter. You come across with someone. You're walking in the street, and then you see someone from your school. You say, "Oh, Maria, how are you? Long time no see you." So imagine it's someone from high school that you haven't seen in a long time. So you stop working. You stop walking because you want to talk to that person. So you stop walking. So this action interrupted this action. Okay? We got 5 minutes for this video. So let's move on a little bit. Then we make another one. For two, another use of this. For two or more actions which were happening at the same time in the past, okay? We call them simultaneous actions. So when we talk about two or more actions that were happening at the same time in the past, we also use past continuous, not simple past, but past continuous. For example, my sister was doing her homework while I was playing football. So we got here this word. And this adverb is the one that we're going to use when we want to say that one action was happening at the same time that another action in the past. So my sister was doing her homework while I was playing football. So that's how we do it. So these both actions were happening at the same time in the past. Imagine it's 2 p.m. So my sister was doing homework at 2 p.m. and I was playing football at 2 p.m. as well. So both actions were happening at the same time. Okay, I was eating at 2 p.m. Yeah, Priscilla, that's good. And the last use, the last but not least, is to give background information in a story. And you might wonder, what is background, teacher? The word is confused, whatever, you don't know it. Background information is like when you tell me a story, but you have to tell me the first situation, like the first part of the story that will help me understand your story. So I need a background. For example, if you tell me, teacher, yesterday I got robbed next to Loyola. Okay, but give me background information. Okay, yesterday when I finished my class, I was walking home, and I said, oh, okay, you were walking home. So that's background information, that information that you give me in order to understand your story. So, for example, here, it was raining, so this is background information. And the wind was blowing. So that's background information. Now, I got a picture in my mind of the story. So it was raining hard, like a lot, that's hard. And the wind was blowing. Imagine, that's like a cyclone, something like that, a hurricane. A hurricane was blowing when Jane left the office. When Jane left the office. So here you can see that to describe the situation, the background information in a story, I use present continuous. It was raining and the wind was blowing. So that's basically background information. So whenever you tell a story in the past, you have to give a background information. That's what they say, teacher, yesterday I was doing my homework and my mother called me because whatever had an accident. So see, I was doing my homework. That part is in past continuous. Oh, you say, teacher, yesterday when I was talking to my sister, she told me that whatever. So, you know, you give me a background information using past continuous. Jonas, again, with an incorrect example. Yesterday I was in the park. I mean, that's correct, but it's not present continuous, honey. That is simple past. Remember, I mean, past continuous. That you need to remember that past continuous, well, you have the structure on top of that. You can see it. So guys, here we have short answers for questions. For example, was I reading? Yes, you were. Were you reading? Yes, I was. Were you reading? No, I wasn't. Was I reading? No, you weren't. Was she, he, it reading? No, she, or yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. Or no, he wasn't. No, he was. You know, the short answer. We use the verb to be basically. If it's in negative, we use the verb to be plus not to answer short answers, okay? So, were you having dinner at 9 o'clock yesterday evening? Yes, I was. So if you notice, this question is in past continuous for a specific time in the past. Yes, I was. So that's basically the past continuous, folks. If you have any questions, let me know in the next video.